The thing I'd like you to understand is what's valuable to you, and I've worked with many different people from different knife styles, is that your quickest response is going to be to parry and get out of the knife's way, obviously. So if you're in a system that works a lot of patterns and a lot of variations and a lot of flow drills, what you're really looking at is there any universal parry in those patterns that involve knife draws from the waistline, which is going to be 90% of the time it's going to come from here, and then do the parries involve knives attending to your stomach or neck or face, because that's most of the time where they're going to go, not from the outside as much. That part of your system is what should be repeated the most. So if you spend an hour doing drills, that hour of drills, 60-70% of those drills should involve that initial parry to get outside. So from the parry to outside, then the next thing in sequence of what's important is some kind of lock, some kind of mechanism to stop their knife from moving, to buy you enough time to either get away, and in this case, once you're locking in place, you've decided you can't run away. So the parry momentum and that's coming in and you're parrying is for you to be able to run. Most people that are going to ambush you are going to ambush you in a small enough area where you can't run. So then therefore, beyond the parry comes this lock that you're going to count on, so then you can deploy your weapon. So even if the weapon isn't a pistol or some kind of firearm, revolver, something like that, which I always kid around that, you know, those that live by the knife or sword die by the gun, it's true. If you have this knife controlled and you have a pistol or a revolver, you'll be okay. So then the next thing that comes in most people's minds is, if I have it parried and locked, I draw my knife. That's not knife dueling anymore. That is personal protection and self-defense. And then Matador 1, 2, and 3, I did show you that. When we're talking about knife dueling the way most people think it is, I'm walking somewhere, some dude comes up and like, hey, give me this or do that. And then I'm like, no. And then I pull a knife and then it's like, you know, and then the beat and the soundtrack kicks in. It's not going to be like that, because most of the stuff that we've done and dealt with in the past that I've shown you with Matador comes from military teams, special teams, and it comes from my teacher who spent 45 minutes on a bridge, fixed bayonet, no ammunition on either side, fought 3 days in trenches, and the experiences of those things with a knife, it's not how people think. How fast are you going to take me out with my knife, with your knife, while I use my knife? All these theories that go away when you're doing all this, and there's nothing you can mirror in a class, not even with the shock knives, because the shock knives are cool for a beat or two, and then we're all hitting each other constantly for jokes. So it loses the reality. So then the next thing that comes up is, a lot of people say, well, you've seen all those videos now where the guy's arguing and he does a quick slash and cuts the guy's neck and he bleeds out in 3 seconds. That's an assassination. So we've discussed that also in Matador 1, 2, and 3. So yes, it's an assassination, and there's systems that make you super fast and show you how to assassinate people. I can show that to a baboon. So when you're trying to teach things that are tactical, for me, it's teaching it to people that do carry long guns and pistols, and then the knife is the last link in that, because there is no hand-to-hand combatives beyond trying to get to a rock or some kind of object to kill you with or get a distance from you. So again, knife dueling, I'm going to show you, because there's certain concepts that I think are important, because let's say I parried, I locked up your blade, and all I did have was some kind of sharp weapon or a knife. If I'm using it and you break free, that might be the moment where we get into a knife engagement. And that, for me, the only story that I've ever heard that's true, that's Vietnam, from my teacher, Pete Carotto. So when I bring this material up, I'm going to show you some things that I think are very valuable, and then I'm going to, as usual, give you my bias from a Western fencing perspective instead of more of an Asian or Eastern perspective as far as drilling and working technique. I think I've offended enough people. I'm speaking of styles, not individuals. I've met people who I disagree with their training methods, but they've been in those training methods for so long that they're super talented for themselves. I just feel like I'm teaching a mass number of people often, and I'm teaching people that are going to train most of their training with team tactics and surveillance and other levels, and then they're going to go to rifle, and long before they go to some kind of long gun, then they'll go to pistol, and this will be last. So I have to teach the most effective things as quick as possible. If all you do is play with this and you get a million different things and you're super athletic, you're going to be awesome with the knife. But my counter to you will be that our prisons here and all over the entire world and places that I've been are filled with people with zero training, 100% intent, and a $7 knife from their version of a Walmart. So put all that in perspective when I teach you this stuff. So for knife dueling, most people think they're going to get into a situation where they're moving around, and you can hear the West Side Story movie.